awkward. Awkward marketing, that is. Buddies, get excited, get excited. Miss RKA herself, Rachael K. Albers, is joining us today to break down her behind the scenes 7-step process for creating her comedic episodic show, Awkward Marketing. And I gotta tell you, it is amazing. You are going to be super impressed, and make sure to stay tuned all the way to the end to see a very special cameo. No spoilers. Let me know in the comments when you see the cameo. Rachael is breaking down how to create productions that are manageable, that save you time, and how you can be creative even when you're not feeling that creative. Welcome back to all my Holly G's VIPs. So excited to see you here. If you are new to me, my name is Holly G, and I am your go-to video gal. And if you want to learn more about business cinema, which is all of what I talk about here, make sure you're subscribed to this channel and come on over and check me out over at Holly G Studios. Take it away, Rachael.
Hey, this is RKA, and this is a special behind the scenes of how I put together my business comedy show, Awkward Marketing. Awkward Marketing is a mix of sketch comedy and business lessons. Think of me as the one-woman SNL of business comedy, if you will. So I'm using comedy to teach people about online marketing, how to grow their businesses, how to get in front of the right people, how to move them to action, and we have a lot of fun while we do it. But I will admit that Awkward Marketing is a scripted show. So I typically have a script in front of me when I'm recording, and I am not recording with a script today. I am totally riffing. I'm nervous. I've got like tears in my eyes. I'm like, I don't know if I can do this. It's okay. But I do have a glass of something strong to keep me company. Pinkies up, am I right? So, Awkward Marketing is a little different in that I don't treat it as a weekly YouTube show. I'm not trying to crush out episodes week after week. Awkward Marketing operates in terms of seasons. And so my season typically starts in September and I end it around May. And then I do reruns through the summer. And there are breaks for things like the holidays. So typically an Awkward Marketing season has like maybe 12 regular episodes and then 5 to 10 special episodes, because I do special series when I'm in a launch season. I do one during Halloween. I typically do one in the spring. You can take a peek at some of my special series in the past. I've done the top 5 awkward marketers. If you know who was an online marketer, my top 5 worst websites, and the 5 days of a launch cycle. And so you can check out those special series there. I've done everything from if Donald Trump was an online marketer to if Saved by the Bell closed the cart. I think what's unique about the way that I approach video is that I'm not pushing myself to crank out videos week after week. I batch and schedule my seasons well in advance. I'm really finely crafting my episodes, putting a lot of time and energy into planning and writing and producing these episodes. And then I'm doing a lot of promotion around each episode, so I don't have to spend as much time pushing each episode out. I spend a lot more time promoting each episode after it's out. And I think, what was his name? Who was it? Who's the guy? See, this is what happens when you're not scripted. Derek Halpern, is that him? God, he would be so offended if he saw that. He'd be like, hey, you should know my name. Derek Halpern, I'm pretty sure, said that the rule of content marketing is 80-20. So 80% of your time should be spent promoting content, whereas 20% of your time should be creating content. And I think this is a big myth that people run into, is they think that when it comes to content marketing, they just have to be creating, when in reality, what you should be doing is creating really high quality content 20% of the time, and then 80% of the time promoting the heck out of it. In my social media, in my blog, in my newsletter, in every single way. A little bit of ads, I do put some ads on them. So I'm doing a ton of promotion on each episode instead of putting all this pressure on myself to record episodes constantly, right? So that's number one. That's kind of something that surprises people, is that they expect that in this age of YouTube, you gotta be putting out an episode every single week, if not every single day. And the reality is, these days, in a world where content is like, there's content everywhere, you can like throw a shoe and hit a million pieces of content. Everything is content. That's something that I say to my mom and she doesn't understand. But in this world of content everywhere, people think they have to be creating content all like this. But really, now that we're so besieged and saturated with content, it's so much more important to create high quality, chiseled content that really speaks to our audience's needs and really kind of breaks through the noise. And so that's what I intend to do by creating an episodic approach to awkward marketing. So I'm giving you all my secrets. There are 7 steps to creating a season of awkward marketing, and I'm gonna take you through each of those 7 steps. Step number 1 is ideating. And actually, I'll be honest with you, I do this step all throughout the year. So I've got literally, like, I go to Siri and I'll be walking down the street and I'll be like, hey Siri, make a note that says awkward marketing dorks on fire.
Okay, I created a note. Awkward marketing dorks on fire.
Thank you. Thank you very much. P.S. I made my Siri an Australian guy because I think it's sexy and it's fun. So I will be walking down the street throughout the year and I will have an idea hit me like a ton of bricks. Like I'll see a truck pass by with like a weird headline on it and I'll be like, okay, wait a minute, that's an episode. So all year long, I am just collecting ideas for my seasons of awkward marketing because I only do shoot the show between 1 to 3 times a year. I am doing big shoots of the show. So I'm not shooting the show every single week. I am batching out the shooting, the production, and then the editing of the show 1 to 3 times maximum per year. And so as the year is going on, as I'm collecting ideas, I might be talking to a friend in a Facebook group or observing something I see in an ad that makes me cringe, or, you know, walking down the street and I see a truck with a funny headline on it. And I am going to Siri and I'm creating like a bunch of notes throughout the year and collecting ideas as I go, so that when the time comes for me to put together my season, I'm not creating this stuff out of nothing. Like I've got a whole catalog of ideas waiting for me to create my season. So that's step 1. So step 2 is actually putting the season together and taking all of the notes that I've put together over the year and filing them and arranging them in order of what excites me most. And what I do with each of these topic ideas is then I start to ideate over, okay, which one of these could turn into a funny sketch? What character could I create out of this? What funny scenario could I create out of this? Because each of my episodes of Awkward Marketing is a little sketch that then rolls into a marketing lesson. So I'm kind of taking the topics and then thinking, okay, how could I illustrate this topic in a funny way? And once I have that list together and I've got the general overview of my episodes, then step 3, sourcing costumes and props. This is the fun part. This is where I go to Goodwill and Party City and Amazon and my mom's closet. Thank you, Mom, for outfitting many an episode of Awkward Marketing. Step 4 is batch shooting all of my episodes for the whole year. And I typically do this in about 3 to 4 days. So 2 of those days are reserved for me, RKA, speaking direct to camera, giving the marketing lessons, breaking it down, and then 2 of those days are reserved for my characters and my sketches. And I'll typically do the men on one day and the women on another day because I do the makeup and the hair a little bit different. And so it's a crazy few days in my house, but let me just tell you one of my big secrets for making this happen. On the days when it's me, RKA, speaking direct to camera, I bring in a hair and makeup artist to make me look amazing. Her name is Bianca. I love her forever. She's my queen. She comes to my home. This feels like such a luxury. I feel like a rock star on these. I'm like, come to my home every day. Let's make this happen all the time. So Bianca comes to my house. She does me up in the early morning, and then I look amazing, and I don't have to worry about how I'm looking on camera. Then I just sit down and I've got to shoot. Typically I do 6 episodes a day. So I'll record 6 episodes one day, and then she'll come the next day and do me up, and I'll do another 6 episodes. And then the remaining 2 days, I'll get all dolled up in makeup and wigs and crazy costumes, and I'll record my characters. And then step 5 is editing. So I don't edit my episodes right after I shoot them. I am typically editing each episode's, okay, like let's be honest, like pretty much right before it goes live, because that's my life, people. And in my case, I have chosen to edit my episodes myself because there's so much comedic timing that goes into my show. It would be ridiculously expensive. Let's just admit it. It would be crazy expensive for me to hire a company to edit my episodes for me. So I edit them myself. Now, in terms of my video setup, let me give you the other little secret. My first three seasons of Awkward Marketing, I shot it all with an iPhone 7. Everything in seasons 1 through 3 was shot on an iPhone 7, and that surprises a lot of people because they think I have this like fancy video setup because I've got the green screen and I've got all of this fancy editing. But I'll tell you what, you can do so much with the camera phone that you've got built in that you're walking around with every day. So it wasn't until this year, season 4 of Awkward Marketing, that I actually upgraded to a Sony, which is what I'm shooting on right now. But I'll be real with you, it added a lot of extra complexity to my editing and all that kind of stuff because now I've got the audio that's kind of disconnected. I shoot my audio separate from my video, and then I've got to sync them in post-production. So my iPhone days were a little bit more chill, and honestly, I don't think you're gonna be able to notice the difference quality-wise when you look back at my old episodes. So I shot pretty much all of my episodes on an iPhone. I've got a Blue Yeti as my mic, which is above me. I'm pointing to it because it's above me right now. That's what I'm recording on right now. So I've got a Blue Yeti, which is an external mic. And what was cool about it is that I could actually get a little connector to plug it into my iPhone. So when I was shooting all my episodes on the iPhone, I just connected the Blue Yeti via a USB device to my iPhone. Everything was recording there, so the audio was there, the video was there, and I use a couple of tools to edit the show. So in the early days of Awkward Marketing, when it was just like basic scenes, even just like basic green screen, I did it all in iMovie. But these days, I have multiple characters interacting with each other on the green screen. So I use a combination of Premiere Pro, my phone falling off the table, Adobe After Effects. And actually what's crazy is, even though I have the skills and the tools to do professional fancy editing in Premiere Pro and After Effects, I prefer, when I have the option, to actually go back to the basics and use iMovie whenever I can to splice my stuff together. I just find that it's like super easy and there's just so much less clutter to deal with. When you're using a professional tool like Premiere Pro, there's a bazillion tools built into it to allow you to do a bazillion things. But when I'm just trying to splice together my talking points and like cut out any dead air and get rid of the bloopers, actually I always try to get back to iMovie whenever I can because it just makes my life easier. Honestly, I don't think that most people need a fancy tool like that. I really feel like a tool like iMovie, which is built into your Mac if you've got a Mac, is plenty for what you need. And it's actually got a ton of stuff built into it. I was able to do a lot of green screen editing using iMovie. And so iMovie is my bae. That's where I always go home to. Step 6 is promoting. So once I've edited the episode and produced it and gotten it ready to go live, then I promote the heck out of it. And one unique thing that I do, and you can see that I'm a working mama, so I got my little baby here with me. One little thing that I do, which is different than other video creators, is that I'm not married to YouTube, meaning I'm not super obsessed with people only seeing my video on YouTube. In fact, my number one goal is that people see the video at all. So I am promoting the video on YouTube, I'm posting it natively on Facebook, I'm posting it natively on LinkedIn, I'm posting it natively on Instagram to make sure that the most people possible see the video. I'm putting the video in my blog, I'm putting the video in my email newsletter. And this leads me to step 7, the final step of producing my show, which is re-promoting. Just like I was saying before, the 80-20 rule of marketing is 80% of your time should be promoting your content and 20% of your time should be, JK, she doesn't know. And 20% of your time should be creating content. So I spend a lot of time between episodes making sure I'm giving them the most juice that I can. Instead of just promoting each episode with a post, I am cross-posting and I'm creating different ways of positioning and putting that episode in front of my audience. So I turn each episode into a lot of GIFs so that I can promote the episode in fun ways that way. I turn the episode into image graphics. I turn the episode into different emails. And during the summers, when I'm not producing new episodes, then what I'm doing is I'm actually turning the episodes into replays or into reruns. And so then I'm taking each episode that I pushed out earlier in the year and just promoting it differently to my audience. And I find that even though we all think that everybody's sick of hearing from us, but the reality is most of our audience isn't hearing from us the first time, so we can't rely on the first time putting an episode out for them to see our amazing content. And so I'm finding different ways to position it, and I always discover that there's people in my audience that didn't see it the first time and are discovering it for the first time all over again when I put it in reruns in the summer. So that's my behind the scenes, my 7 steps for producing and promoting awkward marketing. I hope you've learned something. I hope you're not totally overwhelmed. You know, there's a lot of steps that go into producing the show, but it really reduces my stress level to know that I've batched it out into bite-sized pieces. So I'm ideating and coming up with really fun episodes all year long. And then I've got a few days of the year where I'm creating I'm shooting and I'm creating all of the characters. And then throughout the rest of the year, I'm editing each episode. So when you break it down like that, it's actually super manageable, and it makes it so that even in the weeks when I'm not feeling inspired, even during those times when I feel busy and overwhelmed, it's like, hey, I got the footage, I got the concept, all I have to do is wrap it all together, edit it up, and I'm ready to promote it. And then in the summer, I've got a ton of episodes that I can re-promote and republish, and I do that throughout the year as well. So enjoy. Let's get awkward. This was awkward. This was definitely awkward. All right. Peace. See you on the internet.
I mean, come on. That was awesome. Thank you so much, Rachael, for giving us that very in-depth behind the scenes of awkward marketing. I hope you guys were as impressed as I was with her process. Make sure to go on over and check out Rachael's Awkward Marketing Show on your favorite platform, because as you heard, she makes sure she spreads the love on all the platforms, because you're not always catching the eyeballs of the person you intend to see the footage. I loved that, and that was one of my biggest takeaways from the process that she shared, was that it's 80% promoting and pushing the content out and 20% creating. So that's a very valuable takeaway that I want to really highlight again for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, make sure to like it and share it up. And remember, you are someone's reason to smile, so don't give up.